What is up, Xaliter here. Today we are going over the equipment averages spreadsheet that I made previously. The equipment averages worksheet compares all the weapons, offhand weapons, and armors that are available in Outward. And the purpose of this worksheet is for it to be used hand in hand with the Outward build calculator. I like to use this equipment averages worksheet when I'm trying to either find a piece of equipment to use as my build cornerstone or find a piece of equipment that rounds out my build. An example of this is if I have basically all my builds set up, but after putting all the things into the build calculator, I notice that I'm lacking in a certain resistance. I can look into this worksheet to find a piece of equipment to address that issue. Now, let's get into the equipment averages worksheet. The first thing I want to go over is that to use this worksheet, you want to go to File in the top left and then click on the Make a Copy button. That way, you can make changes to your own copy of the spreadsheet. Next, we see that there are 6 sheets, not including the face sheet, at the bottom of the page, which are the primary weapons, weapon type, primary weapons damage type, offhand, helmet, body, and boots. Let's start off with the primary weapons weapon type sheet. Here, we can see all the different primary weapons organized in terms of their weapon type, whether that is axes, 1 or 2-handed, bows, maces, 1 or 2-handed, which would then be the great hammers and such, polearms, which includes the halberds, staves, and spears, swords, 1 and 2-handed, and knuckles. These all have their stats compared with the comparison category listed on top. For the abbreviations, we can see some things like PR or FR here. The R means resistance and the P is physical, F is fire, C is cold or frost to prevent confusion between frost and fire, L is lightning, D is decay, and E is ethereal. Next to this, we have another set of categories, including PD and FD. The D here means damage bonus, and the P, F, C, L, D, and E are the same as with the resistances, meaning physical, fire, cold/frost, lightning, decay, and ethereal. Next, we have HWD and CWD, which mean hot weather defense and cold weather defense respectively. Going a little more to the right, we have another set of categories with BPD and BFD. Here they represent base, then insert the element here, and then damage. So BPD would mean base physical damage. Then the rest of the elements follow the order of the previous resistance and bonus damage categories. Impact is impact damage, and speed is the relative attack speed of the weapon compared to others in its group in terms of how many times the weapon can be swung in a set amount of time. In this case, higher means more swings can be done. Of note, this is only compared to other weapons in the group, so the attack speed of a one-handed axe can only be compared to attack speed of other one-handed axes. We also have stamina cost and stamina. The difference between these is the stamina cost category is the increase in stamina cost in percentage for all actions that require stamina, and the stamina category is the amount of stamina needed to swing the weapon, assuming the swing is a standard attack. Then, for the last section, we have TD, which stands for total damage, and is calculated by adding the base damage for all the elements that the weapon deals. The next page is weapons damage type. It has the same comparison categories as the previous page, but the weapons are just organized differently. Here, the weapons are organized by damage type, so we have a list for pure physical damage and then fire, frost, lightning, decay, and ethereal damage. Just a note that some weapons deal multiple different elemental damage, so they will be in both lists, such as the thrice wrought halberd, which deals both fire and frost damage. Then we have the offhand page, which includes things like chakrams, pistols, daggers, and shields, and which has the same comparison categories as the previous 2 pages. The next few pages include the helmets, body armors, and boots, and they have similar comparison categories as the other pages. However, they have TR for total resistance and TWD for total weather defense. Essentially, these add up all of each armor's elemental resistance, including physical, or add up the hot and cold weather defense to get their value. The armor pieces are organized in terms of the elemental type they cover, such as pure physical, or fire, frost, lightning, decay, or ethereal. Just a note that if an armor covers multiple elemental types, such as the blue sand armor, providing both lightning and decay resistances, they will be in both lists. We also have lists at the bottom for high stamina cost reduction armors, which I defined as 10% or greater stamina cost reduction, and for high mana cost reduction, which I defined as 15% or greater mana cost reduction. One thing that I like to do if I am comparing things that are not necessarily related in terms of damage type, weapon type, or resistance type is that I can copy their stats like so and paste them below and compare them that way. I hope you found this equipment averages worksheet helpful when looking for equipment to plan out your build. If you are wondering how I go about planning my own builds, click on the info card for a video on my method of creating builds. Otherwise, I'll see you later.